Welcome back. The European Union (EU) has agreed to buy up to 300 million doses of the BioNTech Pfizer coronavirus vaccine after it showed strong results in trials. Deliveries are expected to start by the end of this year. The EU refused to provide details on how the vaccine would be rolled out, insisting that a number of steps needed to be followed beforehand. Early data suggests that the vaccine protects more than 90% of people from developing COVID-19 symptoms. On Monday, its developers, Pfizer and BioNTech, said it had been tested on 43,500 people with no safety concerns raised. The companies plan to apply for emergency approval to use it by the end of November, and a limited number of people may get the vaccine this year. The water and sewage company Wasco has officially launched Phase 2 of the desilting works of the John Compton Dam.
Throughout the years, the John Compton Dam has retained over 1.7 million cubic meters of silt, which has displaced over 400 million gallons of storage water. This phase will see the dredging of the dam to increase the total water reserve capacity of the plant. Chairman of the Board of Directors, Francis Denbo, explains the complex undertaking will see the transfer of silt to the sediment disposal area through both onshore and offshore pipes.
The reservoir's full capacity has been reduced from 700 million gallons of water storage to 300 million gallons. The challenge then was to bring the reservoir back to its original capacity, as future storms could result in the reservoir being completely filled with silt, bearing in mind that with each rainfall within the forest, there is a continuous leakage of silt into the reservoir on a daily basis from exposed landslides on hundreds of mountain terrain surfaces that are impossible to access or rehabilitate. Assumptions are that it will take 8 to 10 years of dredging works to fully desilt the reservoir.
Speaking at the ceremony held in Millet on Thursday, the minister with responsibility for the island's natural resources, Honorable Ezekiel Joseph, explains that a supporting project facilitated through the Forestry Division to stabilize the soil around the dam will prove to augment Wasco's efforts to bring about a more improved water quality and infrastructure.
This is another major accomplishment for us as a team. This is another major accomplishment for us as a government, and you heard from the chairman all the work that we have done for the past 4.5 years. It has not been easy, but I can stand up here and say I have a team that I believe in. I have a government and a cabinet that's very supportive of what we are doing with Wasco, and I'm sure, like the pastor prayed for us a while ago, that we would see the completion of Phase 2 without any major accident.
Prime Minister Honorable Alan Shasney commended the work of the Natural Resources Minister and his team for their continuous efforts to build a more resilient St. Lucia.
But it's so good to see that a group of men and women have come together and put their minds to it to progress. And this is why we keep on saying that we need to build a new St. Lucia. Not just a better St. Lucia, but a world-class St. Lucia. And it starts with water. We need to have secure, clean water being distributed through the length and breadth of this country to allow development to take place.
The desilting of the John Compton Dam is being funded by the Caribbean Development Bank, the Government of St. Lucia, and the water and sewage company Wasco. From the Information Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture, I am Anicia Antoine reporting.
Friday the 13th has become synonymous with bad luck and superstition. The real Friday the 13th hysteria started in the 20th century. Many date this back to Thomas Lawson's book, Friday the 13th, which is about a stockbroker who chooses this day to deliberately crash the stock market. Later in the 1980s, the popularity of the Friday the 13th movie franchise added to the cultural phenomenon. Genevieve Gonzague hit the streets to find out how St. Lucians feel about the superstition surrounding Friday the 13th.
It is Friday, 13th November 2020. That means it is Black Friday. We took to the streets to find out, what does Black Friday even mean to you? Or are you superstitious? Let's find out what people had to say.
It's just another day for me.
So you're not superstitious?
No, I'm not superstitious. For me, Black Friday, Friday the 13th, all of these things, it's just another day.
What it means a lot to me, because we want to change. I just remember a girl from 1 year, they make her sent it. Police always passing up and down. Two, some of them tell you only two persons that's supposed to be in the shop. Some of them tell you two, some of them tell you just buy and go. I just sit down there like a big jackass. I see nothing yet. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to pay my bills? And when they say Outlaw was making communists, well, we are communists now. We are the communists now.
Black Friday is just a normal day. It's just that they call it Black Friday.
Black Friday doesn't really mean anything to me, I mean, I just see Black Friday as the same Friday as any other Friday. It is just that the way how people feel. Like if something happened, they tell you it's because of today's Black Friday. But then all you have to do is just focus your mind of positive and just relax yourself and do exactly the same thing that you normally do like any other Friday.
What does it mean to you?
Nothing.
14 is a number. I don't know that. The Black Friday thing. I don't know that.
Honestly, I don't believe in Black Friday. The sun is shining too bright for the first Friday to be dark. For Friday to be black. You understand? I don't believe in that at all. Today, the 14th of November, people say Black Friday is my daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, Ansha. It's not a Black Friday for you, okay?
So does that mean St. Lucia is not a superstitious nation? Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
The St. Lucia Tourism Authority, in collaboration with Events Company of St. Lucia Inc., will welcome the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers, ARC and ARC Plus 2020 fleets to St. Lucia in early December. St. Lucia has been home to the nautical competition for over 30 years. This year's edition will be recognized as the first major event amid the coronavirus pandemic.
A total of 26 vessels participating in the ARC Plus departed Las Palmas de Gran Canaria on Sunday, November 8, 2020. The ARC fleet of approximately 60 boats will start their Atlantic journey on Sunday, November 22, 2020. The event this year will take place within the realm of strict COVID-19 protocols, geared towards ensuring the health and well-being of all staff, participants, and stakeholders at the forefront of the event. All vessels were required to arrive in Las Palmas no less than 1 week before departure. Their participants underwent the necessary COVID-19 PCR testing and remained in isolation until departure. They were also required to participate in mandatory virtual briefings on St. Lucia's strictly enforced protocols ahead of departure. St. Lucia Tourism Authority's Public Relations Manager, Jeraine Georges, indicated that once in St. Lucia, all protocols must be adhered to, including daily health screenings while in quarantine.
There will be mandatory health screening upon arrival. There will be continued wearing of the wristbands to differentiate non-quarantine participants from those cleared for movement by Port Health. You will also have daily health screening of those in quarantine. And additionally, individuals aboard the vessels arriving in St. Lucia ahead of a 14-day period. So as much as they're quarantining from they get to Las Palmas, they're sailing down to St. Lucia. If they observe less than 14 days on the water, they're still required to quarantine in St. Lucia. So all efforts are to ensure that this is one of the safest events that we are hosting.
Given the nature of the ARC, participants often spend 14 days or more at sea, and in such cases an additional quarantine period is not necessary on arrival to St. Lucia. Georges explained that those arriving to St. Lucia ahead of a 14-day period from the point of departure in Las Palmas will be required to quarantine aboard their vessel on the designated quarantine dock at the IGY Rodney Bay Marina or at a COVID-19 certified facility until the mandated quarantine period has elapsed. Given that the quarantine period for ARC events will be observed with a minimum of 14 days, COVID-19 PCR testing upon arrival in St. Lucia will be conducted as necessary by Port Health authorities. All ARC participants must always wear face masks once outside the cabin of their vessel. Georges added that social distancing measures will also be enforced, and as a result, all vessels will be docked a minimum of 15 feet apart. Security will be available 24 hours daily to ensure all rules and protocols are followed. Participants were informed that violation of the Quarantine Act is an offense and punishable by fines or prison.
When it comes to the protocols and the access at the marina, access remains the same. Of course, you would have had to be cleared by Port Health as a crew member to be able to access the regular operations at the marina, just like the locals are able to access. So if you have not met the requirements by Port Health, you will remain in quarantine. That means you are on a dock that is secure, that is also monitored by security, so that way you, as someone who have not met the quarantine requirements, are not able to access and mingle with anybody else.
St. Lucia has been home to the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers for over 30 years. The ARC and ARC Plus Events 2020 edition will once again culminate at its home base for the 31st year at the IGY Rodney Bay Marina. From the Government Information Service, I am Janelle Norville.
Stay with us. We have a special feature, sports and the weather coming up after the break.